or if Higgins.
Hello. Welcome in, y'all.
How is everybody?
How's it going tonight? We have some breaking news that we want to share with you guys because this is pretty wild. Oh, Eric and Ashley and Sophie here. We looks like Jayz's not going to get off so easy, guys. What do you think?
Well, Merry Christmas to everybody. Did everyone have a good holiday?
Excellent point. Yeah, welcome you guys. Merry Christmas. Thanks, Ashley, for bringing
Merry
that up.
Christmas.
Yeah.
We thought, you know what? We see something going on and we dropped the ball on the JonBenet Christmas crime night, and we were like, let's just go live on this. This is brand new. We grabbed a bunch of docs and we're going to talk about it.
Yeah, this is nuts because we've been talking about this. You know, we've been talking about JonBenet because it's the big Christmas crime, right? A lot of creators are talking about it. And we would have liked to have done it, but you know, it's Christmas. Hey, get to ducking points here.
Yay!
Hey.
Ducking point.
Yay, you're with
So
us.
happy you can make it. I've been chit-chatting with her on my community page. She has been so patient with us. Merry Christmas, my girl.
Merry Christmas. We it's just really funny because this is not a surprise to me. Like, we've been watching this and it has been so slow. And the judge was not saying anything, right? Like, the judge was not denying this. That's what was surprised. That was what was weird to me. Like, we're getting news from one side that's saying this is over. He's going to be, he's fine. This is a Diddy case. No big deal. And that's not how it worked today.
Well, Spiro pissed off the judge is what I'm understanding, is like Spiro's been just filing and filing and filing, and the judge is on Christmas vacation. So the judge is probably like, are you kidding me with this? And then just came out on Boxing Day and is like, nope, case goes on. She gets to be the Jane Doe gets to be anonymous. That was a big thing Jay-Z wanted, he wanted her to be unmasked, which would be scary as hell for any person who is like an actual victim of a crime in the first place, let alone of a famous person. Right. And if the NBC interview is to really be believed, she doesn't seem like she's okay, right? Like, she seems like she has some disabilities and some barriers, and Jay-Z is like full force, like emotional about this case. So I personally think that if she is going to have her day in court, it would be important that she be anonymous. And I have seen comments to the contrary where people are like, well, he should get to know who is accusing him. And I understand that standpoint, but I also think, excuse me, I also think that he will get to see who it is. I mean, in court, he will, right? And essentially, yeah.
I would assume, I'm just going to assume, and I don't know, that going to court, if she wants to go to court, they're not going to do, like remote thing with her face locked out, right? Like, she's going to have to be there or...
Well, it's civil, so she'll be doing a deposition. So she will be sitting there, and Spiro will have his time with her. She will have Busby with her, and he can object. But it's essentially like a civil case, right? So they would do depositions first, and then if they go to litigations, then it'll be actual court with potentially a jury.
And I think this is kind of what happened, right? This is what happened with Diddy, though. This is what happened with Diddy. So there was a civil case, yes, with him and the woman he was kicking around, right,
Cassie.
So he was kicking around Cassie. That was a civil case, and out of that was enough for them to file a criminal charge.
Well, then they
I
raided
mean,
his
Correct.
house and
I mean, you could
turned it
just
into a
watch.
RICO charge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could just watch the video and see that he's like physically abusing someone. Right. I mean, that's not.
So this is kind of like, to bring it back to Jay-Z, is like, so Spiro is he's a well-known lawyer. He was also Alec Baldwin's lawyer, who
Right.
recently got his case dismissed, right? So maybe he was coming at it from a standpoint of, if I go at this from the offense and I'm extremely aggressive and, go at this sort of like kind of, he took a stance of that Busby is just a fraud. Like, Busby is a lot of things, but I think he's not a fraud. Like, I think he
Right.
is a very well-respected lawyer. And it reminds me actually a lot of like the Idaho 4, because Ann Taylor was also filing a lot of motions saying like, oh, the prosecution's keeping things from us, like very like personalized,
Yeah.
instead of just keeping things professional. And it seemed to me that Spiro and Jay-Z were coming at this from a very like personal, emotional standpoint. I don't know how you guys were reading it, but like all the Rock Nation stuff like that Jay-Z was writing, it just seemed really emotional.
Yeah. No, I agree. I don't know how I think that it would be hard to be an attorney and take on any civil case of any kind and not have a little bit of some kind of emotion. Yeah, but maybe that's how it works.
And in her defense, this is like 24 years ago. When you're talking to your lawyer one-on-one, telling them things,
Yeah.
and then when you go on the news, NBC, it's a whole overwhelming, and everybody's watching you, and you might mess up a few things. It was 24 years ago.
For sure.
She is traumatized.
For sure.
And
yeah. No, there's no doubt in my mind this woman has had trauma.
Busby wouldn't have brought it up if she didn't vet her. Like,
agreed. I think that he's got something better.
I agree.
Than
I
this.
agree with that.
I would think that he's got something.
I think
more
NBC
concrete.
purposely did a hit piece.
Agreed. Totally.
Go ahead, Sophie.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm agreeing with you. It's hard. I'm sorry. StreamYard cut us out of each other. How old was the victim at the time of abuse? I think. Get to ducking point.
13.
I think she was 13, but then let's say that she is misremembering the date, and at the oldest, I think she'd be 16. And there was something in the law there that said there was leeway. There's a 6-year leeway. There's some time frame availability there. There's something where she could be, I was 13, but I'm wrong. And let's say I was actually 16. There was something in the law there that actually said she could still file. They would still be filed.
Well, in New York State, there's no statute of limitations for SA.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be in any state. And it makes more sense that she might have been off by 3 years. Like, it matches up much better.
Thing?
New like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah, because
they took away the statute of limitations.
There used to be. I know that there is in Canada. Yeah.
No, there definitely used to be. I mean, I could be wrong on 4 or 5 years. Don't take me to the bank on that, but it's more recent within the past.
Yeah, there's definitely different. Every place has got to have a different one, right? We've all got different. I don't know what our state is. I should look that up too.
Because I have a teacher in my town, my 3rd grade teacher. He's up for like 72 charges.
Oh my gosh.
And it all just blew up because they took away the statute of limitations.
Wow. Yeah. Well, there's something to be said for
what do you guys think about Jane Doe being able to remain anonymous? Like, do you guys feel like that is fair?
I support that.
I do.
Yeah. I fully support that. I don't know how you couldn't. I mean, she's a victim of abuse. We can't, putting her on stage is not fair.
Yeah, she's still up on talking.
Well, and also like Diddy and Diddy and Jay-Z are like well known to be going after witnesses and doing witness intimidation, making phone calls that they've been prohibited from making. Like, even Diddy's doing it from jail, supposedly, allegedly, like using other inmates' phone pins in order to call witnesses and suggest that they not you know, cooperate kind of thing. So
Hmm.
I think particularly in this case, it would be important for her to be anonymous because these people are not stand-up citizens. Like I know they've kind of rebranded as stand-up citizens, but I think that they really believe that they're above the and you know, even just going after Busby and trying to create like some kind of talk around him being giving an STD to one of his exes. Like they've really
Oh
tried to
my
do like
God.
a smear campaign. Yeah, no, they
Oh,
have. They have.
I didn't.
So I
That's
mean, if
wild.
that's the tactics that they're taking, imagine if they had this woman's name and she's a civilian, she's a regular person, you know, if she's going to have a day in court, she has to have a standing chance. Like if there's no merit, they're going to find out in court, period. You
Yeah.
know, you can't create evidence. Yeah.
And when you
Right.
give out her name, her whole family's at risk. Like they could go try and pay off her father, which I think they might have did already.
Yeah.
Right.
Possibly.
There's a lot of speculation about
You
that.
know, like
Yeah.
you got a
Because the
family, they could go threaten the
father said
family
he
and all of a
didn't
sudden
remember.
drop the
Yeah.
charges. Or you,
That was kind of BS, right? Like it seemed like something was off there, the way the dad kind of blew it off. But at the same time, I said that before, we talked about this before, not with everybody here, but like there's something to be said about somebody who has wet brain. So if she's going to continue, like if she maintained allegedly that her father had been drinking and had drinking problem at the time, he's not going to remember. Anyways.
Mm. Is that what people are saying? Is that they said that he has a drinking problem?
Initially, from what I saw, everything about it was that her dad at the time, like I don't know if they're estranged. It didn't sound like it came from directly from her dad to from her. You know, it wasn't a conversation between
Mhm.
the two of them and NBC. It was another comment from their dad, and who knows if that comment came from Busby. You know what I mean? It was
I think
another
it's a,
Mhm.
comment about the dad, about somebody commenting about her dad, and it must have been her comment because I clearly read that someplace. I wish I could have receipt for you for that because that seems kind of silly to say, but like there was something someplace initially, and it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks already.
yeah, about that. I think like December 8th.
Yeah. And so there was something, and that's just like, I guess that's an alleged thought process for myself of like, that's something that a jury could consider if the dad isn't like a good enough. If they did bring the dad to court and the dad sits there and says, I got no idea what you're talking about, that never happened, and never picked her up anywhere. You know, I don't think that this gal has, even though Busby's, probably doing this for pennies. Nobody involved in this has as much money as Jay-Z does.
I
Nobody.
mean, Busby only gets paid if they win the
So,
case.
Right.
do you guys think that Jay-Z's lawyer is going to change tactics now? Because basically, what the judge has done is essentially said, I hope that we read the documents. I know we have some documents, but it's going to make it very clear that the judge basically said, like, you are not expediting this process, like the Jay-Z lawyer has been has been filing and filing like all these like motions over the Christmas holidays, and the judge has just been ignoring it. So they've made it very clear. I think it's a female judge as well, that she's
Yes, it
Mm-hmm.
not
is.
playing that game. She's not into what Spiro's got going on. And weirdly, Busby's been pretty quiet. Like I've been watching his social media and he hasn't been making comments. He hasn't been commenting back. So he must know something about this judge or the way that things normally proceed, because he's not
Yeah.
responding or taking the bait. You know, he's not taking the bait and having these
Yeah.
fights.
That's interesting. Was he taking? But he was taking the bait a minute ago, right? Or has he not been responding this whole time? Because was that letter that we saw was not directly from him, right? It was from Jay-Z himself.
Well, Jay-Z went at
So
him from the beginning, right?
Yeah, Jay-Z like really took the tactic of, okay, he didn't go at the accuser, he went at Busby. And then Busby responded with one final thing and basically said, like, we're gonna have our day in court, you can't intimidate me. And that was kind of his final response. And since then, Spiro's been filing all these motions. He's held a press conference. It really does go back to Busby's initial comments. If you guys watch our first show on this, we read out Busby's tweet, and he said, the way that Jay-Z's acting reminds me of a famous quote from Shakespeare, "Thou dost protest too much." Right.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of basically saying the same thing that the judge is saying, like, settle down, let this have its day. And, we're not taking the bait, which is kind of obviously working in their favor. They've kind of turned it around again.
Yeah.
I wonder who organized the NBC interview. Like, it sounds like Jay-Z's team was involved in that.
Of course.
Oh,
They
yeah.
probably, like, I wonder, do they have her name and they just want it leaked? Like, what's the deal?
Yeah, I mean, they gotta have her name. So her name's in those documents, which is being redacted from us. Like, she can't file the suit against him as anonymous completely.
Like, I don't know. I hear people saying that the father was paid off to make like you don't know anything.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
because for those who don't know, there has been a recent interview on NBC. Maybe we could play it at some point. But they found the Jane Doe. They do have her blocked out, so you aren't able to see her. But she does come across as someone with multiple barriers and someone who's having a difficult time recalling the story exactly as it went down. Some of the details don't really make a lot of sense because she was living 5 hours away from this party. Supposedly her dad picked her up from the party. Her father commented back to NBC and said he doesn't recall picking his daughter up from this party, and that's something that he would have remembered. So pretty much like smashing her case before it's even got started.
Yeah, and it's too bad because they have more power in the media. There's no way he's not gonna have more power in the media.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's damn.
And they got more money too.
Well, God, I mean, I can't. I'm blown away by how much money they have. Actually, I was blown away by the difference, and even comparatively between, let's say, like Diddy and Jay-Z was like not even like Diddy doesn't have money compared to Jay-Z at all. Yeah. That was mind blowing to me.
Millions.
He's going to change lawyers. Think he's going to drop Spiro?
Wow.
I don't think so.
Who would he pick up?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think anybody is out there to qualified like Spiro.
He's got an ego too. He don't,
Well, Spiro screwed up. I mean, Spiro pissed off the judge. How do you proceed after that?
Yeah, well, that's a really good point. I don't know. Like, what do you think? Do you think that it's best to just start over with an attorney? Because Spiro's got to have been his attorney more than once, right? He's got to have this guy on retainer for all the things.
Yeah, probably. He has him in his back pocket.
Yeah. And there's been other cases, is what I think, that have just been paid off.
And this is the first time Spiro looked bad. He looked like a superstar after the NBC interview, and when he came out and made a statement about it, how he put out all the things that didn't make sense, don't match. He was all aggressive and obnoxious.
Yeah, because I have that document you sent me, Ashley, this one here. I'm showing it. That Card's lawyers relentless filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate, a waste of judicial resources, and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client. The court will not fast track the judicial process merely because counsel demands it. Yeah, that's.
See, I take that as that is the judge blasting Jay-Z's lawyer, and Jay-Z being kind of a hothead, sitting there going, "You told me that you knew what you were doing here, and now like we look stupid." Like basically, the judge was, if judges are going to use judicial language, but that's like as stern as it gets from a judge saying like, "You're not gonna pull this bullshit with me," Right.
Yeah, I'm laughing at get to 2 ducking points. This is Dan sound like a real peach. Agreed. and they also say, I think the change in New York law came about because of the abuse in the Catholic Church, and that
definitely
that makes a great deal of sense, right? That does seem
that 100%. That's when it came out because sister's in the law business, and she had to deal with that when it came out, like big time, like cases flooded in.
Yeah. Oh
So
wow. Yeah.
Rolling Stones just tweeted about this right now. They're saying Jay-Z was hit with a warning in his fight against Jane Doe's sexual assault lawsuit, as the judge ruled the woman can proceed anonymously and blast the rapper's lawyer for
Hey George.
relentlessly filing of combative motions. And people are saying the judge is clearly irritated with Jay-Z's camp. So someone's giving Jay-Z like advice, right? I mean, he's obviously his own person and he thinks he knows what's best, but this is a decision like the Spiro, law firm would be deciding that this is like the way that they're going to go about it. And if I was in his position paying, millions of dollars to a lawyer, I'd be pretty pissed.
Yeah, because
Hey,
he's got that money. Like he's worth $3.2 billion is what it says. That's what Google tells me.
Right.
That's like he could have 5 lawyers.
hey, George, how are you?
George.
George is up in chat, y'all.
Yeah.
We're talking Jay-Z today. We're talking Jay-Z. He just had kind of a or an L in court today. His
Big
his civil suit is going ahead despite obviously wanting it to be dismissed. And not only that, she gets to be anonymous. And not only that, the Judge Torres, weighed in and called all the filings frivolous.
We need George on our drone chat.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Yeah. We got to get on that.
Yeah, that's funny. That's the the drone thing is kind of funny. Just to for an aside for a second, you guys, that I was kind of expecting more news yesterday or something, but we got nothing. So
There's stuff coming out. It's still going.
well, no, I don't doubt that.
You
it's
wanted
still
Christmas
good.
aliens? You were hoping for Christmas aliens?
Yeah, kind of. I thought like this would be the time. Come on.
What a bummer.
But did you guys see Beyonce did the halftime show yesterday in the football game?
I saw the article you shared. You said that she did it they were doing it to try to get our eyes off her husband, huh?
Yeah, and Jay, he's got a contract with the NFL, so.
Like the Carters are just doing the most. They literally they went to that Lion King premiere. I mean, obviously Blue Ivy's in it, but she was like dressed like a 20-year-old. She's like 12.
Yeah, that was super weird. I had no idea she was 12.
They did a halftime show. They got Spiro filing like nonstop filings. They got Rock Nation trying to pay random people to file against Busby. I mean, like maybe they need to settle down. Maybe they're getting really bad advice.
Well, they're saying we're not going to run. We got bank. We're not going to run. Try and beat us.
Yeah, I actually think that would be the stick. Like that would dig your heels in the mud. Like they got billions of dollars. How could they be guilty of anything?
And if you run, like if you hide, it makes you look bad.
Right? What? Or you protest too much, like Ashley said, it also makes you look bad.
Yeah, well.
I think it's the way that he's gone about it. Like he's been a little too personal and accessible about this, like writing from your own account and making like, really personal remarks about the lawyer involved instead of like focusing on the facts of the case and just saying like you're looking forward to your day in court when this will be dismissed. I can certainly see asking for the case to be dismissed. That was pretty strategic. I think the NBC interview was pretty damning. Like it didn't look good for Jane Doe, but now the tide has shifted with the judge siding with Busby, in my opinion, and now people are back saying that Jay-Z, is looking kind of guilty.
Yeah, like I think that the judge, if there was not something imputable within those documents, that she would have already dismissed this.
Well, he would have never brought it to the table.
Right. This case is worth too much, let's just say money, because for altogether for him, in my opinion, to not have something that he more credible than just what we've seen on NBC.
Mhm.
And
Like,
it's a civil case. It's not a criminal case. So, I mean, if
you
it
don't
goes
have
to
to prove
court,
it.
I even think the jury's like, well, we're not putting them in prison. We're just making them pay money. You know,
Right. It's not reasonable doubt.
you know, you're not putting anyone in jail.
Right. Yeah, it's different. It's a little, well, it's different, right? They don't have to prove it, but he has to prove he's innocent.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. This is going to be this is going to be wild. Absolutely wild. Was the halftime show good, George? Eric, did you watch the halftime show?
no, I don't watch Beyonce.
I
Do you
missed
guys
it.
want to read the entire
Yeah.
do you guys want to read that for everybody? Because some people probably haven't seen it.
Yeah. We should bring that up. Yeah, that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
We're gonna put up the receipts.
Yeah. Which document should we read completely?
It should start with since Carter's attorney first appeared in this case.
Nope. There it is.
Yep.
Oh, you want to read it, Eric?
Yeah, let me blow it up a little. How can I blow it up?
Yeah, I hope so. It's so tiny. I can read it if you can't blow it up.
How do I blow it up?
I don't know.
Can you blow it up?
Yeah, I got it. I can read
No,
it.
I tried with my fingers. It's not working.
No, no, it won't work on my phone either. Let's see. It says, since Carter's attorney first appeared in court 17 days ago, he has submitted a litany of letters and motions attempting to impugn the character of plaintiff's lawyer, many of them expounding on the purported urgency of this case. See, e.g., I'm like, do you want me to read all the code stuff? Why not? ECF number 38 at 1-2, describing plaintiff's counsel as self-promoting and accusing himself of extortion. ECF number 41 at 1, requesting to be heard on an expedited basis and accusing plaintiff's counsel of exploiting the legal process to generate media attention. ECF number 42 at 1, asserting that plaintiff's counsel seeks only to benefit himself. ECF number 26 at 3, requesting the shortening of a deadline from 21 days to 1 day. ECF number 48 at 11 and 15, describing plaintiff's counsel as willing to blatantly violate the core ethical obligations of all attorneys, and requesting a hearing on a motion of the following day. Carter's lawyers' relentless filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate, a waste of judicial resources, and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client. This court will not fast-track the judicial process merely because counsel demands it. Moreover, although Carter's attorneys assails plaintiff's lawyer as having a chronic inability to follow the rules, ECF number 48 at 3, Carter's counsel has failed to abide by this court's clear rules. Under the court's individual practices in civil cases and with limited exemptions, a pre-motion letter is required prior to filing of any motion. Although Carter's attorney stated that he intended to file immediately a motion to strike the first amended complaint under Rule 12, ECF number 46 at 3, he did not give plaintiff the requisite 5 business days to respond. See individual practices 3A2. Waiting for the court to set a motion schedule, CID, or state whether an exception to the court's individual practices applied. See ECF numbers 47 through 49. This is unacceptable. Counsel is hereby advised that any further motions filed in violation of the court's individual practices may be denied on that ground alone. Wow, he pissed off.
I mean, that came off really, really pointed. Definitely the judge is pissed off.
Yeah.
What was this chronic inability to follow the rules in quotation marks? That is a burn.
Big time. That judge is pissed. That is a horrible way to start a case.
You want me to bring the next? Let me try and bring up the next one.
Okay.
All right, this is the next one, right?
Yeah, this is the remaining motions. This was the one I was saying. Since Carter's attorney first appeared in the case 17 days ago, He was submitted a litany of letters and motions attempting to impugn the characters of plaintiff's lawyer, many of them expounding. Is this the same beginning of the same thing? Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh, it says expounding on the purported urgency of this case. See ECF number 38 at 1 to 2, describing plaintiff's counsel as self-promoting and accusing him of extortion. ECF number 41 at 1, requesting to be heard on an expedited basis and accusing plaintiff's counsel of exploiting the legal process. ECF number 42 at 1, asserting that plaintiff's counsel seeks only to benefit himself. ECF 43 at 6, requesting the shortening of the deadline from 21 days to 1. Yeah, this is the end of the other one. ECF number 48, describing plaintiff's counsel as willing to blatantly violate the core ethic obligations of all attorneys and request a hearing on a motion the following day. Yeah, Carter's lawyers' relentless filing combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate, a waste of judicial resource, and a tactic unlikely to benefit his counsel. This court will not fast-track the judicial process merely because counsel demands it.
Yeah, that's what Ashley was saying.
Yeah, I mean, dang, that's incredible.
And that's the result.
Yeah, he pushed too hard.
He pushed too hard. He did too much, and the judge literally said chronic inability to follow the rules. So, I mean, when you're already coming in, if the judge is the one ruling on this, which I don't know exactly how the civil situation works in America, but I know the judge has a lot of leeway and can rule, on a lot of the aspects of the case. And if they feel like the other side is being shady, which essentially
More like a
says
bully.
by
They're
saying that
trying to bully
they're
him.
not able to follow the rules, like that's not good. That's not good. That's the impression that you've made on the judge. You're not just like being too aggressive. You're literally breaking the rules.
Yeah, pushing it too hard. You're being too cocky, is what this judge says to me. This judge is like, quit being so damn cocky.
You're not going to bully the judge.
No, that's incredible too. Like, honestly, this incredible language from an attorney, in my opinion. Like, or from a judge, I mean, from the judge's opinion is she's not putting up with this shit, and I like it.
I hope Busby stays quiet. For my curiosity's sake, I obviously would love to hear his take on it, and I'm pretty sure I can imagine what his take on it would be. But like, I hope that he just takes the high road and he literally says nothing.
He'll say something tomorrow or tonight.
It's like they can't stop themselves, right?
No,
it's like the media parade. Like you get the attention, and then you're like, I can't stop myself from continuing to speak or something.
I don't think he'll be obnoxious, but I think he'll just say something.
Do you mean Spiro or do you mean Busby?
Busby. I think Busby will say something.
Busby will say something for sure. I mean, I was talking about Spiro.
Oh.
Okay, I thought you were talking about Spiro. I hope Busby says nothing, because then he remains the good guy and he remains the person kind of taking the high road, like just allowing the facts to speak for themselves, that isn't getting stuck in the weeds. Like, that would be, to me, that would be the strategic thing to do. But like, because Jay-Z's camp is the one doing all the crazy antics, and they released a statement. Didn't he do like a PowerPoint presentation as well?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Oh, total PowerPoint.
We gotta.
Yeah, that was intense. That was intense to watch, because that was another like hit at the witness, right? It was just like a hit
totally.
piece.
That's totally letting her relive it.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah.
And there's a process. Like the legal process is called that for a reason. You can't just skip to, let's get rid of this. Like, okay, it's a filing, let's just throw it out because we don't like it. Like, it's a legal process. I mean, everyone famous gets sued. Everyone with money gets sued. I'm really shocked that they're taking it so personally. Obviously, it's a rape case, and it's a minor, so it's a different feeling. But you'd think, as such a public figure and a billionaire, Jay-Z would really just take like a million steps back and just be like, I'm letting my lawyers handle it. It's going through PR. I'm not going to comment on it. just absolutely knowing through his media training how to deal with this so he doesn't come across as somebody who's chronically unable to follow the rules, right?
And
Yeah.
even Spiro's PowerPoint kind of made you think like he might have organized that with the witness.
Right.
Like, like knowing if they put her on TV that,
They could see that. I mean, I think that it's like clawing in, like digging your heels in type situation. Like, I mean, there's no way and this is my opinion. There's no way possible that this guy's best buddy is in prison for doing all these things that he's accused of and not being let out with no bail available whatsoever. So the judges are clearly seeing this as like, not I don't know how to say that right. I'm not finish that sentence so I don't say anything wrong. But I just don't see how I don't see how the lawyer could do that. I just don't. I think Spiro should be quiet by now. I think both the attorneys should be quiet, in my opinion. Like, let it get to court. The less it's out in public until it gets to court, the less likely it's going to get more blown up.
And I'm thinking if Busby had any doubt she was uncredible, considering he has all these other lawsuits, he wouldn't have put her out there because it'll discredit a lot of his lawsuits if this is like he put someone out there who was totally full of shit. Or
I agree. And also, did Jay-Z's lawyer not also mention J-Lo in his most recent tangents? Did he not unmask her?
It's in the filing. Yeah, her name is in the filing. It was
Spiro's filing?
Oh, I think so. I think so.
Because from what I understand, is Spiro accidentally named J-Lo as Celebrity B.
Right.
And essentially before he did that, it was still like a, we could question
mystery.
it. It was a mystery. And then he essentially put her name out there. And I wonder, was that not on purpose to kind of clear Beyonce?
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, right?
Because
Beyonce's probably saying that she took Carter off her last name recently, which is a choice and pretty public.
Yeah,
and
that was
then
weird.
She was probably saying, I am not getting dragged into this. Like, I am not. And Spiro was like, well, I could just let it slip that it's J-Lo, whatever.
And even Jay-Z came out and said him and Diddy aren't friends.
Right.
Which is a stretch. They literally have, like, if you Google image them, they literally look like they are always together.
Yeah, and the stretch was like, they're just professional people. These are Hollywood people, and you see them together, and these are all like promotional things. Like, they're not actually really buddies. They're fake buddies to make money.
Wasn't that what everybody said about Epstein? Isn't that why everyone said they were on his plane and visiting his island and getting photos with them and all that stuff?
Odd you would compare those two, Ashley.
Yeah, they would just go to a fundraiser. They didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, maybe they're just like names on paper and they like wave across the room like everybody gets the Grammys and they all know each other personally already. Or is it all a sham?
I think there are certain people that probably, they're two billionaires and, they definitely ran within the same circles. And Jay-Z actually publicly came out for P. Diddy when he was first arrested, I think. And said something, and then it was later deleted. But he did say something. He was one of the few people that said something. So, I don't think that they're just anonymous random friends. I think that they are best buddies and they hang out together. And if it was, maybe Jay-Z and Madonna, they could say that, like, we're in the same industry. We, don't know each other. We don't have much in common. She's an old lady. I'm a middle-aged rapper, But I think in this case, they're like the same demographic. They're, they have kids around the same age. They have the same
Career.
genre.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it would be fair to say they are running in the same circles all the time.
Yeah, and I bet if we go back and listen to their music, they're talking to each other and they're at different points. That's like pretty
Mm-hmm.
so popular when people are in the same when they have the same producers and stuff. It seems like a lot of
Yeah.
the hip hop artists, rap artists will have conversations in their music between each other that some people are just like right over people's heads.
It's all
And
stepping stones. Like,
there's that too. Get to Duck and Point said how does NBC have the victim's name?
Great question. Yeah, we've been wondering that too. That interview really came out of nowhere, and it really seemed like it was a hit piece done on purpose. And
Uh-huh.
that kind of makes sense because you have to like follow the money, right? NBC is affiliated with the football, right? Like the
yeah,
NFL.
Yeah,
yep.
yeah.
And the NFL is affiliated with Jay-Z, and they've not dropped Jay-Z, and in fact they've doubled down and said that they're certainly not going to drop Jay-Z, and they put his wife in the halftime show at Christmas time as almost like a good faith, like we're on his team Jay-Z kind of thing. So I wonder, could it not just be the powers that be doing what they do and being like, yeah, we're going to take care of this for you?
I don't know how Busby let her do that interview.
Did Busby know? I mean, like you'd think
I,
he would insist on being there with her,
Right. I
to
thought the
make
same
sure that
thing.
it was within the parameters of what she's allowed to discuss. Usually, if you have an open case, you're not just allowed to sit there and just shoot the shit with NBC.
yeah. When you get a lawyer, your mouth is shut. That's why you get a lawyer, to keep your mouth
Mm-hmm.
shut.
Right. That's what I thought too. It is weird that he was not there, and it is weird that she spoke at all in public. That
Yeah,
was
was she paid?
Well, you got to think like the media is probably the biggest medium to change minds, right? So it's
Mhm.
for the longest time everyone said, okay, people with an open case can't speak to the media, but then recently we've seen Karen Reed have more than one interview, and that was calculated. And Karen Reed is super smart, and she's savvy, and in my opinion innocent,
wicked smart.
and she made it
Smart.
through. But the lawyers on the other side tried to get all the notes and all that stuff, like from the journalists who interviewed her. Like it's such a fine line because being silent kind of makes you look guilty in a way,
Yes.
or not
Yeah.
confident in your case, right? Like if she was to say, oh, I can't talk to you, sorry NBC, I've got Busby, he's telling me no, I can't talk to anybody, I'm Jane Doe. That would be more understandable, I think. But it seems to me like we're seeing more and more people wanting to speak to the news and wanting to get their story out. And it doesn't make any sense to me because it just seems like, what are the positives? Like, what did she gain from that? Like, other than if she was paid?
Wow. Yeah, good point. What would be the positive?
And you know what we think
Influencing
about?
influencing who? Because they're not going to bring it influence people as a jury.
You know
If
what we
Right.
there was
think
a
about
jury,
mainstream media?
I guess there's not going to be a jury, though, right? There's probably not going to be a jury. Maybe.
I mean, if it goes to litigation, there could be a jury.
Probably be smart if you already pissed this judge off to have a few more people to
Yeah.
make a decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how that works. I gotta look that up.
Well, they
Yeah.
go to depositions first. They get to depose one another.
Yeah.
Okay.
And see if it's even worth it.
Right. And I mean, the whole idea is Jay-Z has come out super strong and said he's not getting one red cent from him and he's not settling. So he's either going to win or lose. He's not settling. So there you go.
I'm wondering, can this become a criminal case because it's a minor?
Yes. Absolutely. That's what I was saying earlier about how if we look like just to compare it to Diddy, even though we're talking about Jay-Z, but like we compare it to the Diddy thing, that is what happened with Diddy. That was a civil case. That started with a
Right.
civil case with Cassie.
Right.
And so I think it's just a matter of having enough evidence and whatever comes out in court. If it's, I mean, I don't know we don't know what evidence they have for this poor woman. I feel really bad for the lady, to be honest. Like, how are you going to remember? I'm not going to remember 24 years ago a day in my life, and then like a insanely traumatic experience. How are you going to be able to keep all those pieces together? It's got to be so difficult.
So difficult. And also, you don't know what you don't know, because she was also, I mean, if the whole story is to be believed, she was drugged.
Right.
So,
yeah. Yep.
you know, like, she might think she remembers it a certain way, but if you were drugged and you were super impaired, I mean, one can just assume that, you know, your story's not going to be anywhere near like a great account of the facts, right?
And some of the things they were trying to say are like, this can't be true. In the last few weeks have like, what, the day before, they found a house that was only 20 something minutes from where the awards were at.
Okay.
What happened in 2003? It all matches up.
Right. And before they were
Oh.
exactly. If we take that case from 2000, you're right. The twins aren't there. Those guys are on tour someplace else. So she couldn't have talked to Benji, and I can't remember.
Interesting. Yeah.
So she couldn't talk to them in 2000. But in 03, they were there. All the other things happened in 03.
If I give you guys the link to the interview, can we play it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm making no promises, but let's try.
Because some people probably more has any of our chat seen this interview with the Jane Doe?
Yeah. Yeah, Get Your Ducking Point says, yeah. They only do interviews always be to discredit the victim. Yeah, that stinks.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
Wait, yeah.
Oh, you're just waiting for me? Okay.
I'm just hoping. I'm just hoping we can.
I was reading chat. Nobody answered.
Nope.
I'll take that as a no.
Yeah. They answered. Get Your Ducking Point says nope.
So, Ashley, if you send it to Sophie like you did the other ones, we should be able to play it.
Where can I send the interview?
Let's see.
Where's the best place? I'd love to just see what people's comments are, because I know I watched it a couple times and I had a pretty big reaction.
You want to send it to me in Discord, and I'll pull it up and see if that works.
Sounds good.
And you'll add it to this? Okay.
I'm just going to share my screen to YouTube. We'll see how that works.
Well, if you add it to like the overlay, I can pull it up.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate to see anybody who is, you know, she's challenged, and I found it incredible that she would be doing an interview without the presence of her attorney, you know.
Agreed.
And it seemed very calculated, in my opinion, especially with the then Spiro came out with his big PowerPoint presentation of how this whole thing was a sham. Like, it seemed like a big plan that they had. I wonder what Spiro's thinking now about this plan, considering that the judge is just totally throwing the book at him.
And she's going against Jayz. That's like, you know, it's like,
yeah, that would be so intimidating.
Just the fact of it. Yeah, exactly. Like,
and Beyonce and Rock Nation, and then essentially like the NFL, because he's associated with all those people and those entities.
The hip hop community.
Right?
Yeah, big time.
It's really against hip hop in general. Like,
and there's a lot of people. I mean, race is a big thing in America. You know, I mean, it's less of a thing here in Canada, but like, I noticed like it's so divisive in America, and a lot of people feel like, you know, like they're so tired of seeing Black people who are successful being like torn down. I'm seeing that on Twitter a lot in like the conversations. And just like in general, people are like, just leave the successful Black people alone. Like, well, you know, okay, but like then they really shouldn't be drugging people and raping them. Just FYI.
Good point. Yeah.
Keep yourself out of the spotlight.
There's tons of successful Black people that don't do this kind of wild shit, and it's never even a question. Like their names don't come into question.
That's true.
And this isn't one case. This is like 120 plus.
Yeah, I mean, we had Epstein and Weinstein, and I mean, we've got a lot of problems ourselves as Caucasian people. So
Abercrombie.
yeah, Abercrombie. Who's that other guy? He's also a designer. Are you able to pull that up, Sophie, or is that a
I
no?
think that I just have to share my screen, and I'll just share my screen. We'll see.
All right, cool. I'm excited to see if
Sharing is caring.
Hopefully. We're gonna find out. Let's see if it lets me share my screen and doesn't kick me out, because it did too when I tried it before.
Well, if it kicks you out, we've got lots to talk about. We'll just start talking about aliens and drones until you get back.
Sold.
I have so much going on in my brain about that, about the drones. I can't wait to talk about that.
We're gonna do a drone show tonight, right? Late night.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, because there's
a double header today.
Yeah, we got to come back
because
there's
Christmas show.
Lots of drone talk we missed yesterday. Okay, let's see. Let's share the entire screen and see what happens. Maybe.
Don't share your banking info.
I am not. How's it look? Am I sharing the whole screen? I go, oh, nope, it's telling me to leave. Maybe I'm not. I've stopped sharing. It's not.
Well,
I can't.
You know what? For now, we won't. And then maybe we can just post a link to it in the community. And then anyone that wants to check it out can check it out and hasn't seen it.
Real quick.
It's a short video. It's about 5 minutes. And it's like basically the video of Jane Doe. And it raises a lot of questions. And it preceded this ruling by the judge.
Real quick. You can't put it where you put the docs?
No, because it's not an overlay. It's a video. So it's because it's a not.
What about video clips?
Yeah,
we'll figure it out another time. Right,
yeah, we'll figure it out before we get here later, and we'll try to figure out, because it's. I was trying to do it earlier, and for some reason it let me share my screen, but it's telling me to do it right now. It's going to kick me out and take me to YouTube, so I don't want to do that. I don't want to kick us out of here, but I will figure it out. I will add it to the community post in a community post so anybody can watch it. Get your ducking point if you'd like to see it, and then we'll figure it out. It's StreamYard is not as simple as it looks, but it's it's baby steps.
I gotta mute for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Well, I have to take my dog out, so I think we're kind of wrapped up anyways, are we not?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think we've given the information that we have for today. If anything else comes out today, we'll come back. But I think that we'll be back later to talk about some drone stuff.
We're gonna do another video tonight, late night.
Yeah.
Catch us live. Later. Yeah, we'll be live tonight for chit chat. And if people want to talk about anything else, feel free to drop it in my community or in this community page. Yep. I post a lot in my community, so feel free to leave me a note. I will bring up your questions, comments, concerns, emotional outbursts, anything you like. It was nice to see Yep. It was nice to see Yep joined us. Yep.
Thank you for all your support.
Oh, Yep. Thank you, Yep. I didn't see you.
We appreciate you all. Thank you.
Bye, George. It was nice to see you as usual. Everybody, get to ducking point. See how I didn't dox you today? We love having you here.
We love you. We're so glad that you're here.
We tell it what time tonight? We probably what do you think, guys? After 11?
I don't know.
We'll set the notification. Yeah, I think we'll set a notification, and then we'll usually be within 20 minutes of that, I would say, if not bang on time this time, right?
Yeah.
11:30 West Coast time.
Yeah.
Right.
That should be good for us here. 9:30 my time.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sounds good.
Very cool. I will set a notification.
Tell your friends.
We'll see you guys later tonight.
All right.
I gotta run.
Sounds great. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye, guys.